Dragonia, the Aftermath. I did end up getting all of my reward levels. I can't show them to you now, I don't think, because the event's over. Let me see if I go to about to start. Nope, they don't even show it yet. Okay. Point is, I wasn't getting enough wounded from the attacks on the altar. Once TDO got the 6 hours they needed in order to be declared winners, and there was no danger of some other alliance getting 6 hours, they opened it up as a free-for-all on the dragon, so I sent my best march. And this is an example of how incredibly silly the game is, the battle mechanics are. As you can see, oops, wrong button. I sent some almost 151,000 troops. And not only did I send 150,000 troops, they were T8 cavalry supported by my heroes. Sent all those troops against less than 50 T3 cavalry, T3 catapults, apologies, and I got my butt whooped. On the plus side, it meant that I had got all my points for having wounded troops, and also got a lot more for the kingdom boost, and I'll show you that in a minute. So, Dragonia is over. The alliance that held Dragonia for 6 hours has chosen their ruler. So if you come to Dragonia and you click on it, you can see Alliance TDO. Fox is the ruler. So see what happens. Okay. And so this is what's currently going on. These are the kingdom titles he can give to people. For some reason, he chose to give me Prophet. And I can see that he has done some of the negative ones he was talking about. They're both positives. Prophet gives me a plus 9% to research speed. I'm not quite sure what the countdown is, if you only get the boost for 24 hours, if you only get the title for 24 hours. I'm not sure. I've never gotten a title before. It's kind of exciting. Anyway, so, positive, the blues are positive ones, increases to attack and defense, like Mr. Wayne needs that, and other things, troop defense, so on and so forth. And then failures have negatives, most of them. Now, the Fool does get a plus 3 to production speed, food production speed. So, but those are the titles. And then the ruler can also issue a kingdom bulletin. This is pretty standard for kingdoms. It outlines the NAP. Oh, and I'm writing an alliance email covering all this information, and I forgot. The NAP no longer, prior to the dragon, it was covering everybody in an alliance. If you were in an alliance, you were safe. Now it only covers the top 30 alliances. And then this is a little confusing the way he wrote it. The academies of the top 10. So if you were to look at an alliance's board, and they say we're an academy of such and such. If such and such is in the top 10, that academy is safe no matter where that academy is ranked. Which is a little confusing. Usually in other kingdoms I've been in, it's just been, academies, period. But I don't attack people anyway. If you're in my alliance, this does not mean that you can attack people in alliances now. I don't allow it. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to raid, there are plenty of untagged castles, people who have left the game that you can attack, or you can wait for the alliance versus alliance or kingdom versus kingdom events. In fact, our first Battle of Sarnesia will be next week. So anyway, so that's the NAP. Another thing, they're going to start enforcing the tile. Also, the resource spots are also called tiles because in some of the languages, that's just how it translates. So, people should now have enough troops to be able to fully gather a resource spot. And I've covered that in other videos, so I'm not going to show you again. But essentially, when you send troops to the gather spot, to the tile, it does say near the bottom of the screen, it shows you how many resources are in the spot. And then as you add troops to the march going there, it tells you how many resources it'll gather. Make sure those match. If you don't have enough troops to do that, consider collecting from a lower level tile. If for some reason that doesn't work for you, you can also bring a troop back and then send more troops back. The main thing is don't just abandon a half-gathered tile because there is a limited number of resource spots that will appear on the map. And if you leave a bunch of half-gathered ones scattered around, then we don't get fresh ones. And it's very annoying when you've got the troops to fully gather spots and it takes you 10 minutes to find one that is full. If I'm going to bed, I'm not going to be up to send a march that comes back in an hour. I want it to be able to be out and gathering for the full however long it takes. So that's resource information about and also the first to march to a resource gets the tile. So if you click on a resource spot and you click send, and then your screen starts flashing red and you see something, I think it's incorrect march destination or something like that. That means somebody else happened to be looking at that same screen the same time you were, and they were a little faster to click. If that happens, you must recall your troops. Attacks on resource spots are not allowed. You are not allowed to speed up your your gather troop march to get there first. Now, if the other person was heading there first, if they beat you to the punch, they get it. Period. And recall, it's 200 diamonds, or you can buy them in the Alliance shop. Now, any NAT violations, and this also probably holds true for any violations regarding resource tiles. If something happens, if someone violates it, things need to be discussed between the leadership of the two alliances involved first. So if somebody in an alliance, in another alliance, were to attack me right now, my first step would be to contact their leadership and try and resolve it. And then only if their leadership won't resolve it, do I then maybe contact either the king or more typically the diplomat of his alliance. Let's see, did they assign a kingdom? No, there's a warden, there's a prophet, and an architect. Okay, maybe the secretary or the chancellor. And I think I've usually just gone to the diplomat of the ruling alliance if for some reason it can't be resolved. And then the only other thing is that some bullies, in an attempt to avoid getting punished for violating the NAP, they will leave their alliance, change their name, do the attacks, change their name back, and then rejoin their alliance and pretend they didn't do anything. If you're caught doing that, you will get burned by everybody in the kingdom. They will all gang up on you. That is considered extremely bad manners. You don't do that. And if your leadership defends you or anything, they're likely to get killed too. It's taken very seriously by people. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about, well, let's take a quick look. We looked at titles. King rewards. He can hand out these packs. It looks like he gave them to everybody. I don't think I got one. Not surprising. They probably went mostly to people in his alliance. We've already looked at another way to see the Kingdom Bulletin, because we were looking through here. So what's the difference between Kingdom Decree? Okay, these are the various boosts he can start. As you can see, he started Fast Comeback, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Those awards, another way to see those awards. Coffers, if we had reached the military expedition part where we could potentially invade other kingdoms and take their Dragonia. This is where that stuff comes. I think I've talked about that before. And then the rules for immigration, which doesn't matter until the kingdom opens, which for us won't be for a little more than a month still. Okay, so then that leaves the final thing to talk about, the Fast Comeback. I had talked about this before. You get a 300% speed up increase for up to 100% of the might depleted in Dragonia. So this training cap you see here, this 855551, that is 120% of the might I lost either wounded or killed, because troops do die in Dragonia, during the event. So I can go to my barracks, which just happened to finish a training cycle, and typically I was training 750 at a time because that was 12 hours. You can see it now takes just under 5. And in fact, I'm in the wrong talents set, so let's switch to training and take another look at that. And you can see I can train where prior to the speed up going into effect, I could only train 750. I can now train 1,805 in that same 12-hour period. More than twice what I could before. Now, once you do that, I'm going to go ahead and train some and speed it up so I can show you this. Okay, so I've trained you that the 59,000 might. So now if I look at this, you can see that I've done 59 yada 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 of the allowable. So it looks like I could probably do 13, 14 more. Let's see, let's do math real fast. 855551 divided by 59565. I can train little over 14 more cycles before this will stop applying to me. Now what I'm kind of curious about, I don't know if it stacks. So let's see, as I said, that was just over, or just, yeah, 11 and a half hours. If I start a speed up of my own, no, I don't have any, never mind. It's possible that if I had a speed up of my own, one of those 10 or 30% training speed ups, that would also, that would increase it even more, but I'm out of those. So anyway, and supposedly that ability to train those troops that quickly will make up for the fact that I lost. I had over 155,000 paladins, and you can see I'm now down to 144. So I lost over 10,000 paladins. And I don't know how many catapults I lost, because I trained a bunch of them mid-event. But I lost, thousands of troops died. So I'm not entirely sure this training speed up makes up for it, particularly since there's resources involved. The resources it took to heal the troops that didn't die, and the resources it's going to take to train the new troops. So I'm still on the fence as to whether or not the event's worth it, particularly since it was so boring. But some people seem to get a kick out of it. So if you're one of those people, this is how it goes. Thanks for watching.